Hey, greetings everyone. The camera's over here. Let me just move it. Hey, it's been a few days since I did a video, but I just wanted to touch base. It's the beginning of a new month, and Monday is the start of a new week, and it's been pretty stressful this weekend. I have to repair two machines now. And one machine was printing some long parts for an order I was putting together, and then everything looked fine. I basically leave it alone for an hour, go back and look, and its printing is up in the air. There's nothing inside, nothing below. So something clogged up the nozzle, and so that means like tonight, most likely I'll have to take the machine apart. And it's a long process. You gotta heat up the machine. You gotta unscrew the nozzle. You gotta probe around there to see if you clear up any obstruction. You gotta put it back, make sure everything is fitting properly, so you don't have to spend time to recalibrate the machine. Um, if it's not quite the same measurements, then you gotta recalibrate everything. When you unscrew the nozzle, it may be when you put it back, it may not be exactly the same height as it was set before unscrewing the thing. So if it's fortunately with these machines, if it's a little bit off, the machines will survive. The print will be okay. But if it's too much off, then you gotta go through the process of recalibrating. And then, you got to keep doing it until you get a perfect print. So that becomes an exercise in time consumption, because, if you hit the mark just right the first time, you don't have to spend any more time with it. But if the thing still needs adjustment, you got to tinker with it, test, mess with it, test, mess with it, test, until you finally get it just right. And so it's a purely manual calibration. It's not automatic. So there's two machines like that. The other machine, I think, is a little bit more serious. I'm not quite sure what is wrong with that one. So I also have to, although I'm thinking of not doing it at this moment, but I do have to remove the build tack covering that's on the build plate, and basically to resurface the thing. So I'm thinking about that. I do have some build tack like material from a different brand. I was thinking of simply using the laser cutters to just make the proper shape and save it as a template, and then that way I can just use it. You see, it's like every time I order a particular roll of filament, the company that sends it also includes this material as an extra bonus, I guess. I haven't really used the material except on another machine, and it does work well. So what happens is that I end up having a lot of this material I don't use. So it's just been collecting, and I've been thinking about using it for the VSS because it feels like sandpaper, but it's not sandpaper. But it has that kind of like a fine grain roughness to it. But if you move your fingernails over it, it's not going to wear it down like sandpaper would. So, but it has that like tarmac like look, when you look at it closely. And I was thinking, oh, that was like good material for the surface of the VSS. And I was like, okay, well, I just have to keep buying this brand of filament. They'll keep sending it, and then I'll have more material for my VSS. So I've been thinking like that. But anyways, I'll use one. So with that said, I've been shifting the load from that machine to some other machines. And so, but letting you guys know, when you dealing with 3D printers, and I've said this before, it's not so cut and dry. There's advances in the machines, but you also you get what you pay for. So these are inexpensive machines. So there's very little automatic. Only one version that they came out with was automatic for calibration, and they discontinued that. And so everything is manual calibration. Parts do wear and tear more quickly on these machines. They're not the best design in terms of the wiring. So parts of the machines do flex, and they flex the wire incorrectly, causing the wire to eventually wear and break. So after a while, these machines begin to wear down, and they do require maintenance. Fortunately, the material that we use mostly is PLA, and that material doesn't really require a very warm environment for printing. So, yeah, there's something. We have the windows open, and I think there's something from outside coming in, and it's kind of making my eyes itch. I know they're doing a lot of grass cutting, so maybe it's a lawnmower engine or something like that. The exhaust. But anyway, these machines do require a lot of maintenance, but not all the time. Just that when they do break down, unless the machine is really broken, it's not quite worth buying a new machine so quickly. Well, with that said, the DioWarrior examination tables, the pivot table, that one is now back in stock. And so if you've been waiting for the pivot tables, they're there, and they're now available. Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying not to sneeze, but I may have to do that. Let me check something with the store. Because there's additional stuff for the pivot table. Let me take a quick look to see if those add-ons are available also. Okay. Examination table, okay, that's there. Add-on number 1 is available, okay. I think we need to make better. Just reading the got the assembly guide. Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure that I have everything proper. I think I'm going to have to start printing inventory on those. Okay. Well, that's the latest thing. The machines are giving me a headache. And let's see. That's basically it. I'm also preparing now to move this table that's behind me over to in front of the figure cabinets that's on this side. So I'm getting ready to do that. I was thinking it's going to give me a little bit more room, I hope. If not, I'll just move things back. You see, I got the way this room is laid out. There's no power on that wall there. That wall is actually an extension. Originally, this room had no wall. It was just open to the adjacent room. So the previous owners of this place added this wall here, and they did not add any power outlet to anything on that side. So there's only on this side of the wall, past the door frame. So everything on that doesn't have one. There is an outlet somewhere on the back wall there. I seen it one time, and I'm not quite sure where. It might be like hidden inside of a cabinet. So they have cabinets down there. You can barely see it in the video, but there is cabinets behind that structure. There is an AC register up on the upper corner, but the power outlet I thought was up there, but it's not. It's somewhere else. So I've been hunting for it, and I have a table in the way. I can't quite open that cabinet. So, but does it work? I don't know. So that means that all the power that this room really gets to light up everything, and the printers are in the wall that's in front of me here. There's a big window, and there's these there's two power outlets that I use, and there's one power outlet on this wall on this side. So the figure displays get power from that. There's a computer that gets power from that, and there's also these machines that get power from that. And so now the displays also to get power from the other wall here, because I don't want to put too much of a load on a single outlet. One good thing is that everything is going LED, and that uses less power. The only thing that really is a power drain is when I use the heated build plates on these machines behind me. And I was just thinking, I haven't used the heated build plate on these machines in, oh gosh, 2 years, maybe. It's like these machines, well, with the plastic PLA in particular, don't really require a hot build plate. They just need the first layers to adhere, and that's it. So I actually find it more convenient not to use any heated build plate. But if you do use heated build plate with these, if you ever watch the wattage, I have a little kilowatt meter. So if you ever watch the wattage, I don't remember the numbers, but it's like low with these. But as soon as you turn on the heated build plate feature, oh man, it just jumps up. And it got to the point where there was on all the machines they use an emergency battery backup. So I have some small capacity emergency battery backup UPSs, emergency uninterruptible power supplies. So I have some small capacity ones that I have at the small machines, individual computers, things like that, connected to. And then I have bigger ones that can handle a lot more load. And I have a big one just for these machines in the back, dedicated to just those. Because this was the issue. I had one, and this is the strange thing, is that I have these two machines. They're identical, or they're supposed to be identical. On one machine, I turn on the heated build plate on a low capacity UPS. no problem. Okay. Then I turned on the second machine at the same time, no problem. As soon as I turned on the build plate, the battery backup kicks in and it starts giving me the warning beep that it's on battery. So I investigate. What I would do is turn off the other machine, have the second machine, no heated build plate going on, just printing, no problem. As soon as I turn on the heated build plate on it, again the same thing. The emergency battery kicks in, the alarm goes on. But it's so strange because they're supposed to be identical machines, but yet one drew much more power than the other. So that's the reason why I ended up getting a big one, and just not to take a chance. And I also don't really require a heated build plate for those, so the heated build plate stays off. And if I do have to use it, I'm only going to use on one machine. And there's been one case where I got some filament that I thought was PLA, but it was mistakenly ordered. It was PETG, and that stuff prints at a higher temperature than PLA. It's almost like printing with ABS, almost that type of settings. So I was wondering, it's like when I got it, it's the same color as the PLA that I use for everything, that gray, light gray color. So I put it in. I got it on this machine actually, and I was like, how come the thing is not sticking to the build plate? Same cold settings, okay, low temperature on the extrusion, and the build plate was not on. And it's like, it only does a little bit, it doesn't want to stick, so I recalibrated this, an exercise of frustration. What's going on? So I ended up looking at the box. It's like, oh, this is PETG. Well, how do I print PETG on this? Some people say PETG, but it's PETG. And so it's like, okay, well, it's the first time I'm going to be printed with this. It's like, what's the settings? So I go to YouTube, take a look. I go to the different websites, take a look, and they all point that it's higher. Like I gotta print it like almost at the max of what this machine can do, and plus it requires a heated build plate. So I crank up the build plate on this thing to almost to its max, and with the extrusion also almost to its max. And well, finally it worked. So I started playing with the settings, lower the settings until I got to the point where it didn't have to be maxing out the machine as much as possible. So got down to a more manageable temperature and everything. And I printed some very nice things with it. But PETG is more durable for outdoor stuff, and so I printed more utility type things with it. I'll give you an example. On nozzle converter for the laser cutters, the exhaust hose that comes out for the laser cutters went from a 6-inch diameter exhaust down to a tube that was 4 inches diameter. So I did a converter for that. And then linking the exhaust tubes, they're like your, not the washer, but the dryer exhaust tube, that accordion style flexible tube. I needed 2 of those to reach the window where it vents out to. And so I needed a little, I don't want to say it's converter, but it's a little attachment or joining unit to join one tube to the other. So instead of hunting around Home Depot or something like that for something like that, I just went ahead and just designed my own and then printed it with PETG. And so it got some adjustable tube rings, I guess. It's the aluminum type with the screw, like you have for a car hose. So these are hose clamps, and so I just use those to join the two hoses together, and everything works. So it has me thinking about other things, like not for this place, but if I were to have a dedicated workshop, I would definitely have dedicated ports that I can connect these hoses to. And I was thinking, well, PETG would be ideal to make an adapter for that, connected to an exhaust to the outside, and then just have it, inside. So I was thinking things like that. So I do have several spools of PETG because we ordered like 4, and they're all, I don't want to say useless for the props, but they're, not what I normally print with. Speaking about stuff like that, keep in mind that plastics like PLA have a low melting point compared to ABS or PETG. So I would not recommend transporting 3D printed items in PLA in a hot car. Let it sit in the car, or let it sit outdoors in direct sunlight. I don't know about shade and things like that. If you do stuff like that, you may want to experiment. But experiment with something that you don't mind risking a loss. Because the way it will happen is that that entire material will basically get soft, but still keep its shape unless it's long, and then it'll start sagging. And if you start handling and touching it, yeah, it will twist. And the thing is that it is designed to cool down quickly. So if you put it like indoors or into the shade quickly or something like that, it may harden again, but now in the twisted shape. So keep that in mind. A lot of the stuff that we do here in DioWarriors does use PLA. So it's really not designed for outdoor use. Unless, like I said, maybe in the shade, maybe. Some places, you have, even in the shade, things get hot. Sometimes too hot. So, like I said, if you want to figure out, you could ask me for a dummy piece, and I'll be happy to send you a dummy piece that just something that's just printed. I got pieces I could just dig out from my discard pile, things that have problems, errors, or something. And you're welcome to test your location with that. But keep in mind, even if you do test, conditions may be right for that piece not to warp or or whatever. But you know how it is on the part that you want. It's just so happens that particular time, that particular location, that particular whatever conditions are going to be just right that it's going to cause damage. So just keep in mind Murphy's Law. Okay, if it can go wrong, it will. So most likely it's not going to go wrong on the part that you're testing. It's going to go wrong on the part that you want to keep. So my advice is just not to risk it. But, there are advantages to low printing, low temperature plastics. One advantage is like we have a bunch of barrels that we print in PLA. So the advantage is that you can make the barrels look like they are really old or really beat up and used by taking a hairdryer and heating the spots up and then just slightly bending and making dents. things like that. If you have armor for a vehicle, you can do the same thing and make it like a shell impacted but did not go through. So you just poke holes or something like that. Anyways, those are the current thoughts right now. It's been a hectic weekend. So the machines need maintenance. That's the big news on my part. I am getting orders out. They're going slow. I have a list of them, and I am trying to get them out ASAP. I do have a problem with one of the lathe cutters, but I mentioned that on a previous video. So, anyways, it's not all problems either. Okay, it's just those are the things that are happening right now. And I guess you could say uh, when it rains, it pours. It's that kind of situation at the moment. Other than that, I do have potentially good news coming uh, down the pike. Um, can't really say anything yet until I get emails and things like that showing me. I am expecting a mysterious delivery tomorrow. I don't know what. Something came in my FedEx, a FedEx notification. Something's going to be delivered tomorrow. I don't know what it is. I am expecting some new machines, and that's part of the good news, but I don't think it's that. So, I don't know. Maybe it's something from Big Bad Toy Store or something. I don't know. Maybe something from Hasbro Pulse or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But we'll find out tomorrow. Anyways, some other little things on that I'm been up to and is the let me just share the screen. I've been share screen. I have been working on this satellite item for the conspiracy brand, and that is still going on. Just that there's a lot of stuff that's happening. It's really slowing everybody down. Design studios are loaded with work. I can share experience with that because I'm loaded here also. So I am working on adding one small segment to this. So I've been working on making an attachment part for this radar dome, tracking dome. And I did that a little bit yesterday. So this little ring that you see down here, it's been giving me a little bit of grief because I'm trying to get the styling where I want the thing to really give the sense that it's been assembled, manufactured, and assembled. And I'm trying to do it in such a way where this dome is not quite dead center and not quite off either, but well, that doesn't make sense. Like, for example, okay, this attachment part for the sensors, I was thinking of making the sensor attachment a little bit different because other components are going to have other sensor things. And so I was going to make this sensor something that items can attach, hoses or wires can attach. So I was thinking, I don't want it then dead center. If you look at this, let's do a top view. Oh, actually, let me, am I actually showing this properly? Yeah, okay, good. So if you look at the top view, okay, if I center this, try to make everything look nice and straight, about like that. The attachment part is off right here. I'm doing that on purpose, but at the same time, it kind of bothers me that the hatches for the dome are also off. So I'm going to have to print this, attach it, and see how it looks. And if it still bugs me, then I'm just going to go back to the drawing board and make a different adjustment to that ring, so everything gets straight. But so I'm trying something different with it aesthetically, and I don't want to have to do the dome, redo the dome where the hatches are straight, but the connecting part here is off. Because then I gotta print it, and so I want to use what I have printed already. What I am doing today with this, though, it's a simple piece. I was thinking, if this thing is out on a planet surface, let's say Mars, and there's a weapon on this side, on the left side, this side here. Well, I was thinking, instead of having some elaborate communications array that allows it to communicate to a satellite in orbit, I was thinking, okay, communicating to a satellite in orbit, could be done with a different kind of antenna. But I was thinking, if something like this exists on a planet surface, most likely it's going to be used to deny an enemy in a large area, like an area of denial weapon. So, on some planet surface, this is probably going to be one of many of these platforms just sitting, waiting for an enemy that may never appear. So, does it really require a dedicated surface to orbit communications array, especially if these are going to be on the front lines dealing with an enemy? In other words, something like a big radar dish will probably get easily damaged in a firefight or something like that. So I was thinking something more robust would be to have a coil, an antenna coil. So I'm thinking about designing an attachment for this part back here, where you have an antenna coil. So it's a horizontal antenna, and it's just going to span the back, and it's just going to be this massive antenna array. So if you think about it, all it is just a coil that goes around a cylinder, and it just becomes this big, massive antenna. And was thinking something like that, would be powerful enough to communicate to a satellite, but it's kind of omnidirectional if you think about it. So was thinking something like that might work better in a cluster of these platforms or other platforms like it, all communicating to a unique platform elsewhere. And that unique platform could be one designed specifically for satellite communication, as well as linking, coordinating all of these other machines. Of course, these other machines, these other platforms would have to be intelligent enough that if it loses communication to that central platform with all the communications gear, these machines will have to be able to figure things out on their own. And so, I was thinking, okay, so if this antenna I'm about to do, if it's kind of omnidirectional, then it may be a source for eavesdropping for an enemy to kind of bleed off the signal and maybe do things with it. So I was thinking that other platform with communication equipment that could be more unidirectional, specifically to a satellite. And So anyway, I'm just trying to think of strategies on if a military force were to land these things on a planet's surface, how, what will be their strengths and how can they be defeated, and what can I do to design something else to help counter a defeat. So these machines can probably be independent, and but for communications, they should be able to communicate to others, and to have a central communication array that's designed specifically for communicating long distance. That way you can up the power and do other, in other types of defenses, better encryption, better this, better that. So, anyway, my brain is busy swimming with all sorts of thoughts on this at the moment. Because, I was thinking, there's other kinds of defenses to set up as well. I'm thinking along the lines, no modern military gear is designed to be the perfect weapon for all situations. You end up having specialized vehicles, specialized weapons, specialized aircraft, specialized people that are very good at doing specific tasks, and machines the same way. Of course, people can be trained to broaden their skills, so if something happens to a particular member, others can hopefully take the slack and get the mission done, or survive, things like that. Same way with these machines, but the ideal conditions for them would be to rely on other specialized equipment. Out on the battlefield, a tank is going to have support. The entire group is going to have logistical support. There's going to be, satellite communications providing overall, support of the entire battlefield condition. So everyone, my voice is getting rough. Everyone, and machines and vehicles included, they all have different roles to take up the weaknesses of other vehicles or people. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. There's no one particular weapon that's going to be the perfect thing for dropping on a planet. You're going to have other specialized platforms. Platforms with drones, for example. Platforms with special long-range weapons. Platforms with projectile weapons, energy weapons, missiles, different kinds of communication equipment, different kinds of gear you can swap out, laser communication versus regular signals, backup stuff. So my voice is getting rough. I just want to keep this video for about an hour. So let's see. Okay, so it's about 20 minutes more. Okay. So anyway, changing the pace of the video, I'm going to just do a quick little design on that antenna, so you kind of get an idea where I'm going with it. I won't complete the design in the amount of time that I have left, but it will be just enough so you can see where I'm going with it. So what I'm doing here, I just have a quick little outline of the dimensions of the area that I'm going to be working with, which is this area. I don't know, can you all see the mouse? When I move the mouse, can you all see the mouse? So let's see. I think I need to also move the video into the comment section. Okay, good. So let's see. Let me get started here. Okay. What I'm going to do is make a little, or choose the perspective of where I'm going to begin. And I'm just going to go ahead and just make a, well, exactly what do I want to do? I think what I want to do is design this for a peg, but I don't want the peg to be part of the structure. I want to have a port so the peg can go through it. So I would have to print a separate peg, and so that's what I'll do here. So I'll begin with the peg port. And since this towards the left is going to be the end of the structure, I am going to kind of guess. Oh, well, you know what I did? You know what I did wrong? I plunged right in. Let me do this. You might see some errors. Let me go to sketch 1, select everything, select, choose edit, select everything, and then drag this right here all the way to the origin right there. Okay, so now go okay. Sketch 2, okay, sketch 2 traveled with it. Hey, that's good. Okay, so no error. Okay, good. So if I remember correctly, the dimensions for the radar dome is about 30 millimeters. Is it diameter? Yeah, I think it's a diameter. So that's about 15 radius. So now right here I'm needing the radius. So I want to have a little bit more, a little bit, let's say, let's make it 16 radius. And so what I'm going to do is kind of work around this particular. Yeah, I'm going to make the. How would I say it? I'm going to make this antenna stick out from the from the turret a little bit. I'm not quite sure how far to stick out, so I'm just going to say 15 for now. 15 millimeters, by the way. Center line. I'm going to make a mirror on this line right here. I'm going to extend this line all the way to the circle. So that way I can trim this circle off, leaving just an arc. And then I'm just going to close this. I'm going to trim this port thing off right now because I'm going to make a mirror, and it'll just be easier just to go ahead and just select everything and then mirror. And then make an extrusion. Let's see. Let's do 2 millimeters thick. This is just a basic thickness. Now what I want to do here is give you an idea of where I'm going with this. Okay, this part I want to make the basic circle for the antenna. I'll get my caliper and just kind of see, okay, do I want it 10 millimeters? Yeah. So I'll make a 10 millimeter diameter. Yeah, diameter. So let's go 10. Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to see about attaching it. I'm going to do a 45-degree line. I'm going to attach it to that. This is just for a guide. Construction line, construction line. I've done something like this before in the past with a mech that I did. So kind of, let's see, how high do I want to make this? Oh, I don't know. Let me put another construction line here just to get an idea of height. So if I make this 10 millimeters, make this 10 millimeters, let's see. And I'll show you in just a bit the original antenna that I did a long time ago. Okay. So if I make that there, can I simply just change the height here? Let's say 5. Will the circle? Okay, the circle travels with it. Good. Let's make this one for now 3. And let me go ahead and make, see, this is going to have an overhang right here. Maybe I could do like another 45-degree and put a structure, something interesting back here. 1.5 would be a nice thickness. This is lessons learned also from the previous time that I did this. I'm gonna make this one, and I'm gonna make this one solid. And I'm gonna go ahead and just trim this off. And I'm gonna make this into another construction line. And I'll show you in just a bit the mechs. So let me go ahead and just finish setting this up. Files, features. Okay, do I want to make this one? Yeah, let's go ahead. I want to extrude this up to the surface, this surface right here. And direction 2. Up to the surface of right here. Okay. Now let me go ahead and save this, and I'll show you what I'm getting at in 2 steps. So let me see about saving this. File, save as. This is going to be, what do I call it? Nice spell antenna. Oh well, if it's incorrectly spelled, sorry. That's the A. Antenna. Maybe I should say antenna mount. No, I'll just say antenna. Save. Okay. Once it saves it, I will switch to this view, And I will go insert components, choose antenna, click there. I will now tell the thing how I want it connected by defining a mated surface. So I want here, and I want a little bit of a space, 0.5 there. So now you can see it's about the same height. I want to make sure that, okay, that's what I want there. I want a little bit of an offset of 0.25 millimeters. Then I'm going to make this a little bit easier for me. I'm going to say rotate component, rotate it to the direction that I want to further mate the objects. I will say mate here to here. Okay. And now I'm going to say okay. I'm going to mate this to here. Notice the ring is intersecting, touching this part. So I'll have to. So it's not the right what you call it, diameter. So I'm going to switch to here. One easy way, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to go sketch, sketch. I got reasons why. Really, what I should do instead of doing all this guesswork is open up the file, see the actual dimensions of that circle, and use it. Features, extruded cuts. Let's do it like this. Up to the surface. So that way, if I ever change the thickness of the part, that cut is also going to be adjusted. Save. If I miss the mark on this, I'll open up the file. Yeah, kind of missed the mark. Almost got it though. Maybe I could just let's see. Do one more and then I'll move on. Let's say 21. Like that was a 22. I bet you it's going to be like 21.5. Something like that. Oh, I got to go okay. Save this. Move it. Refresh. And yeah, this looks like it's a winner. Because, you know, the thing is also slanted. There's a slope to it. So I could probably make this 22 or 21.75. And I'd probably go 21.75. And I can even, you know, raise this area here, make it taller just in that area to make it a little bit more, how would I say, seamless. Better fitting. Now, one thing I want to take a quick look is just see the overall length of this neck piece. And I'm thinking, okay, it seems like a little bit long. I could always put, you know, some sort of gear on top of here, big capacitor, or, you know, some sort of access to fuel cell right there or something like that. But the weapon part is going to be in the front, the weapon section. It'll be a similar structure like this. So I can make this one, this neck, a little bit shorter. I think I will. Oh, I think I will do that. Not too short. But what I want to do, let me save this. What I want to do is show you guys the mech that has this particular item. So let me actually be easier if I could just bring up Explorer. And there we go. Copy. Do they still call it Explorer, Windows Explorer? Or maybe they call it File Explorer. So let me quickly get to the proper folder. Under Vehicles, 1/18 scale. Under Modern. Under Land. Under Unmanned. Under Mechs. Autonomous Mechs. Mini Mechs. Now let's see which mini mech is this one. That one. Not that one. Here's version 1, but this was back when I tried to be, well, I didn't know what I was doing for the mechs, so it is a bit of a mess. I bet you if I load this up, it's going to have errors. JPEGs, but I don't want to show JPEGs. Well, let me just take another quick little look. Maybe I know there's different iterations. Okay, here's something here. This is version 6. Let's try this. So I'm double clicking on it. Yeah, I bet you it'll come up with some errors. Yeah. Differences between versions of the software. What worked in the past, maybe causing conflicts in the future. Let's see how much of. So the thing just gave me a warning message saying that there was a conflict with one particular part, so it was removed. So I say rebuild. So let's see, that part that was removed might be the part that I want to show you or something like that. Okay, so this is a nice little line drawing, but I want to show. Let's see. 3-point faded, plain white. This is the background. No, not quite doing what I wanted to do. Okay, right here. I was looking for a better option, but maybe just leave it like this. Okay. Anyway, so you see how I did this particular piece? This antenna or array, same kind of idea. I don't think I can just move, copy it over, but so this is what I'm shooting for. And yes, this is a nice turret. Uses the same turret as what you see on the other one. So in reality, I could take this model here, separate components, and port it over to the that other platform. And I think I will do that. I never really decided how I was going to finish off this area back here. But you get to see, this mech. And I think I actually had this for sale up on the store at one time. But no one actually bought it. So, let's see. But I also didn't leave it on the store for very long either, because at the time, the printers that I had were not enough. I didn't have enough printers to get all the components out properly, at a good time. The other thing was the way the articulation was done. This green piece back here. Since then, I have improved items. So since then, the items have been redesigned, and they can print better. But I'm still working on a better way to do the articulation. And I'm thinking of just using silicon. And so I'm looking into making some silicon molds where I can just inject, and I'm not talking fancy silicon, I'm talking regular hardware stuff. Just inject that, make the right impressions, and then have 3D printed parts inside. Basically, what it needs is a flexible interior. Let me just give you a little idea of what I'm getting at, or what I'm describing. Okay, right here. So let me do a little cutaway view. Okay, you see this? You see the way the this orange part is to that green? The orange part is what I'm talking about for silicon. And the reason why I did it as a hexagon like this, so it could have a ratcheting effect. That's why you see the green, which is a different material, versus the orange. The orange is designed, to compress. So that's why it needs something soft like silicon. And so the idea is that as it compresses, it allows movement to go through. And then, so I have some 3D printed flexible parts, and it works fine. So I'm trying to just come up with a faster way to manufacture those parts, this hexagon piece. And once I do, then I'll be, more eager to get these mechs out there. They are, durable little things. They do look good when they're all painted up. So that's where I am on this thing. Other things, you can see the interior. Other things, other interior parts. The way the turret, is other little items. The way these things are. So you can see, this is a lot more to just simply to just simply throwing something together. And it used these little cylinders to basically make like a hydraulic thing. It may look incomplete in the sense of the bottom, but that's because I have other versions of this mech with other, different type of turrets, different types of weapons, but the bottom part is complete. And so instead of simply making a new one, whatever, I know that the other ones are complete and they print well, so I didn't bother to import them into this particular model. But it's designed, to have these other parts. So I was thinking of putting this together, also for conspiracy. It would have hoses, for hydraulic lines, the feed line, and the line that goes in, line that goes out, and yeah, so all the orange stuff, like flexible pieces. Yeah, some custom flexible pieces there. So, anyways, this is something else I want to do, but it's for conspiracy. So, it's been years in the making, and they've been sitting there on the hard drive. So I guess this makes for a nice little animation for video on the Kickstarter. Say do that. Let me click. Yeah, it should be. So everything is tested for collisions, things like that. I don't have that setting turned on at the moment. But the idea is with collisions is that the software will tell you when one surface impacts another. And so you get to see how the design can turn with, and bump into something or not. So that is something that I had to rework on this one because I wanted this to have a better firing arc on the top. You can see right here, it impacts right there. And the way I got around it was simply by making this piece taller. But you get to the point where it gets too tall and then it looks funny. But so obviously I don't have that design in this older model, but it does exist. So it's a matter of copying the files to this folder and put it into this assembly. And the reason why I did the legs like this on this particular mech, because I figure, hey, this could be like a solid piece of metal, something big, something heavy, something that if it was to get impacted with some weapons, firstly being more solid than anything, it'll probably be strong to withstand a lot of impact. I think I would have to beef it up some, in terms of larger weapons, but they're also thin. So unless you're hitting the target on the side like this, straight on, you're going to hit the leg parts. And these, you don't see it here, but I do have a version of these legs where there are attachment points to put additional armor on the front. And not only that, but you can also change the leg parts. That's what this in the front here, this little hole, is so you can add things like a wider foot. So if you're stomping around concrete area like some urban city or something with a lot of concrete, yeah, maybe something like this can work. But if you're stomping around like the surface of Mars or the moon or something like that, yeah, then you want a different, wider feet. Or maybe wheels or some other item like that. I like the way this style came out, and I do want to get it out there into the wild. I may rework the legs, the front part of the legs. It's a very simple thing. I mean, it's not meant to be like some sort of racer, you know. It's meant to just move some location, and it will do that. It won't do that with elegance, you know. It'll waffle around, I think. But once it's in place, you know, it's designed to deny an enemy from that area. So you know, once they move into place, they just sit there. You know, you're not going to see these things jumping around like Zentradi battle pods in Robotech or Macross. You know, they're just going to just go to a location and sit. Yeah. And there's these openings here, like these big areas. They're actually attachment ports that other equipment and gear can be attached to. And I have part of that design on the previous mech, but I don't have it for this one. I wasn't really happy the way it came out, so I left this design for later. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let me just see if do a nice little cutaway. And I'm thinking like when it comes to doing a video for Kickstarter, if it will have a video, maybe I could do some sort of recording of this thing, or maybe you know going like this, you know, like some sort of design, like ooh, look at that, you know, maybe better from the bottom. I know I'm getting a little carried away, but yeah, I'll do it like this. Grab it from there. So this, well, I guess I would have to like change the direction. Okay. So you can imagine, you know, like some sort of video just showing the thing going up like that. I know, I'm easy to please. Okay. Oh yeah, and the sensor thing returned. But I think I'll make this fixed. So, okay, this is one mech. Let me see if I have another one to show. I don't want to save this. Don't save. Okay, and let me, let me get to here. And let me do, so I don't want to just show pictures, because I have, you know, I post pictures before. Weapons, what's under weapons? Missiles. View. Oh. Let's see. This is version 6. Version 7. Oh, version 7 is incomplete. Version 8, it was a different style. Version 8 is even less complete. a utility version. I don't think I went very far with the utility version. Version 3, I have an assembly. I don't think I ever completed version 3. So let me just go back to earlier versions. Let's go version 1. I know there's a lot of stuff there. But which item do I want to show? Let's try this. Okay. This one's got missing parts, obviously. Okay. I just wonder what is not missing. I say rebuild. Well, not really worth seeing, but you know, part of the, yeah, this is older with the legs. You can see the way the mates are set up. They're screwed up. You know, like this piece here should be on the other side. Should be connected somewhere over here, just like the way this one is. And these would be connected to somewhere over here. But and then you can see there's this. This is really terrible. Yeah, let me just move this out the way. Just get it out. So you can see these grates. These grates. This is it came, you know, the weapon came out nice. It doesn't print extremely cleanly on the inside, but you know, you're never working with the inside. It's only the outside that matters. And so I have redesigned the weapon so it prints cleaner. This is just the first version of it, though. You can see all the errors. So these grates, they're like you know, like armor. The thing is that you can put them will it raise up? Yeah, you can put them on hinges, and you can just have the thing rest on the surface. So, you know, stuff like this leads to other ideas and on how to design and do something better. So, but anyway, I'm not going to save this. I don't want to save it. Don't save. But uses the same turret. So the idea, you can see how this can be extended for the future. With just imagine those types of weapons on this system. You know, so you can make it as a platform or part of a mech. And I do intend to use that turret for other items. So, anyways, I think I went over the 20-minute limit that I had set for myself. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll show more next time. And yeah, don't forget to ask questions if you got some. All right, catch y'all later, and thanks. I'm going to just say stop screen. See you guys next week, next Monday. All right, bye-bye.